How many extracurriculars are 110 Panther Creek High School seniors involved in? First, we have to find our measures of central tendency. Our first measure of central tendency is our mean, which is the average of all of the values in a data set. You begin by adding up all of the values in your data set, and then you take that total sum and divide by the number of values that you added. Since we added 110 values together, we divided 317 divided by 110, and we got 2.88, which is our mean.
Next, we focus on the median. The median is the middle value in a range of values situated in the middle. So first we ordered the numbers in ascending order, and then we cross out the numbers from the highest and lowest ends, making sure that we cross out the same amount from each end. Then we found the number in the middle, which was 3, so our median was 3.
Next is mode. Mode is the value that occurs the most in a data set. We had 4 zeros, 18 ones, 32s, 21 threes, 21 fours, 9 fives, 4 sixes, 1 7, 1 8, and 1 9. Since 2 occurred the most, 2 is the mode.
Next, we had to find the mid-range, which is the average of the highest and lowest values. Our highest number is 9 and our lowest number is 0. First, we added the two values together to get 9, and then we divided that sum by 2 because there were two values being added together. 9 divided by 2 equals 4.5, which is our mid-range.
Next, we focus on measures of distribution. First, we started with range, which is the amount of variation between the highest and lowest values. To find the range, use the simple formula. Range equals max minus min. Our highest value was 9, and our lowest value was 0. So we did 9 minus 0, which equals 9. So this results in 9 being our range.
Next we did quartiles. The lower quartile is the middle value of the smaller 50% of our data. So we put the data in order and found out that 2 is the median, so the lower quartile median is 2. For the upper quartile, the middle value of the larger 50% is our data. So we put that data in order and realized that the upper quartile median is 4.
The IQR is a measure of variability based on dividing a dataset into quartiles. So you take the medians from the quartiles that we just found and subtract them from each other. Our lower quartile median was 2 and our upper quartile median was 4. So you have 4 minus 2 equals 2, which results in 2 being our IQR.
Then we had to focus on standard deviation and variance. Standard deviation is a measure of how spread out the numbers are, and variance is how far each number in the set is from the mean. So our mean was 2.8, so we took each of our values and subtracted them, found the difference between each of the values and the mean. So for example, for 0, we did 2.88 minus 0, which is 2.88, and then squared it, and then we multiplied it by 4 to account for the 4 zeros we had in our data. So we made sure to account for all the numbers we had in our data, and we added them all together, which resulted in 306.69. Then we divided by the numbers in the data set, which was 110, and we found that this equaled 2.79. To find the standard deviation, you simply find the square root, so obviously the square root is the square root of 2.79, which we approximated to be 1.67.
Next is graphing our data. We decided to use a histogram to represent our appropriate graphical representation. A histogram is a diagram consisting of rectangles whose area is proportional to the frequency of a variable and whose width is equal to the class interval. We chose a histogram because it was a simple way to visually display a lot of information.
Lastly, we had our normal distribution graph, which is a theoretical curve that shows how often an experiment will produce a particular result. This curve is symmetrical, and we started with our mean of 2.88 and then added and subtracted 3 standard deviations on each side to appropriately get our standard deviation lines.
Thank you so much. Please give us an A.